UFC 317 Topuria versus Oliveira, full card, most confident picks to least confident picks. We're going to go through this entire very fun UFC 317 pay-per-view, starting with Jacoby Smith and Niko Price, making our way up to that main event of Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, and give you guys my percentage chance. I think every one of my predictions is going to go out there and actually win. This means I could predict Ilia Topuria to win, and I can predict Josh Van to win, but my confidence is nowhere near the same. So that's what this video is about, to give you how confident my picks are, as opposed to just saying, I think this guy's going to win, I think this guy's going to win, without actually saying how confident I am in my words and me saying those words. So this is a great card, a lot of fun fights. So of course, if you do want to see all the bets we are making for this incredible pay-per-view, UFC 317, we have the Burt MMA Gold membership. It is in the pinned comment down below of any one of my videos, or it's in the description right there of, again, any one of my videos, for $4.99 a month. That is $1.25 for an entire card of MMA bets. Also, an entire month of early MMA and UFC fight news. When fighters are going to fight next, who they want to fight next, fight news that are like fights that are actually booked but that aren't released to the public yet. You get a lot of behind the scenes news in MMA with this membership. That's a great one. You get the UFC fighter contact list. You can ask me. I have a list of fighters I talk with on a daily basis. You can literally become a channel member, have all the other perks, as well as maybe your favorite fighter is Steve Garcia. He's going to be fighting in Nashville's co-main event against Calvin Kattar. If you have a question for Steve Garcia before his fight, let me know. I'll ask Steve Garcia on your behalf. That's a great perk. And then these ones right here, the fighters to cut, the best prospects outside the UFC, and the entire UFC rankings for the entire roster, not just the top 15. So many great perks. Of course, pin comment down below or in that description. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the confident picks. Jacoby Smith, Alvin Hines, all of the bolded fighters are who I actually think are going to win. Our underdogs this week are Alvin Hines, Jackson McVeigh, that's a 50-50. Viviane Araujo, that's a dog pick. Hydra Mills, a dog pick. But Neil Dariush is a dog pick. Josh Van on some bookies is a dog pick. So we'll just have to see if any of these odds have changed, because they have been moving around quite a lot. But let's get into it as we go on to the first fight, Jacoby Smith, Niko Price. The odds are, wow, minus 1,800 for Jacoby Smith. The best you're going to get is minus 1,200 for Jacoby Smith, and you're getting a little bit of dog action on Niko Price. A few people are putting money on Niko Price to win that fight, which, yeah, at plus 1,000 plus, yeah, you're probably going to put a little bit of money on Niko Price. Jacoby's a little bit unproven. He's only 1-0 in the UFC, so maybe he's got cardio issues we don't know about. Maybe he's got some sort of injury we don't know about. The odds are crazy is what I'm trying to say. Am I still confident in Jacoby Smith? Yes, he's likely going to be my most confident pick of this entire card. He is just going to go out there and win the fight wherever it is. Striking, grappling, wrestling. Jacoby, in my opinion, is the better fighter. I'm going to go with a solid 85% confidence for Jacoby Smith, which isn't as much as the betting odds have it. I have it as, I think 85% is like minus 600, something around there. I'm still fairly confident on Jacoby Smith to go out there and win. 10-1, 20-1 is a little crazy to me, so I have a little bit less than half of what the actual odds have. I'm very confident in Jacoby Smith, as a lot of people are. Would I bet him at this spot? Probably not. That's likely a dog or pass. Those odds are a little bit much for me, so just 85% for Jacoby Smith. Then we got Alvin Hines stepping up on short notice. No, I'm not confident at all. Not confident at all. 50.1% confidence on Alvin Hines. The actual betting odds have Alvin as a big underdog, plus 250 for him as a dog. His favorite, Jonathan Deniz, as a 3-1 favorite. I am not at all confident on Alvin Hines here. First off, he's coming in on short notice. Second off, his wrestling and grappling is good, but it's not as good as the guy that just beat Jonathan Deniz in Marcin Tybura. So there is that threat of, Jonathan had the full camp against Marcin Tybura and was able to defend some of his takedowns. Then he got caught in the round 2 and got ground upon TKO'd and a doctor stoppage and all that good stuff. Alvin Hines is taking this on short notice, so maybe he doesn't have the cardio in those later rounds, things like that. And maybe he's not as good in the wrestling and grappling as Marcin Tybura, which is all valid points to be made. It's a gut feeling, in my opinion, that Alvin Hines and Jonathan Deniz is a pick'em. I really can see this fight going. Jonathan defending one takedown and just battering Alvin Hines in the feet and knocking him out in round 1 and round 2. I can also see Jonathan winning round 1, gassing him out a little bit. Alvin mixing in takedowns in round 1, really wearing on Jonathan, and Alvin shooting more in round 2, wearing on Jonathan more and more and more, doing the same in round 3, and either finishing him late or winning round 2, winning round 3, winning a decision. That is a fight I could literally see going either way. I can't believe the odds are this spread apart. But I can easily understand domination from both sides. I can easily understand Jonathan going out there and dominating Alvin and just knocking him out early round 1, round 2. I could also see Alvin coming back and wearing on Jonathan and wrestling and grappling and making this a grindy, grimy fight and winning the later rounds. So it's a 50-50. This is a fight you're not going to be wanting to parlay Jonathan. He could go out there and dominate. I'm saying this right now. He could go out there and dominate. Alvin could come back in the later rounds, which I have a feeling he will. This is not a fight you want to parlay. This is a dog or pass if I've ever seen one. Alvin Hines, barely. I'm not confident at all. This fight, literally a pick'em in the UFC heavyweight division. Then we got Jackson McVeigh, who's a slight favorite now. He was the underdog when the odds first came about. He was plus 145. Now he's at minus 135. I got him at minus 110 yesterday. So I'm glad to see we got better odds than they are now. But he is the favorite now, which makes perfect sense in my opinion. I was happy to say I predicted him when he was a dog, but now he's the favorite, so I can't really be like, I got so many dog picks on this card. I don't anymore. Jackson is now the favorite. I feel fairly good about him. Not like super good, but 60% seems about right for me. Jackson's got the better wrestling, he's got the better grappling, good countering ability, good kicks at range, jabs, and he's very good on the back foot, southpaw, and then when he gets it to the clinch, he's good with knees and elbows. Of course, his wrestling and grappling, like I said, is very good. There's a lot of realms I can see Jackson McVeigh going out there and winning this fight. So I feel fairly good about Jackson submitting Dumas or winning 2 rounds 1 and winning the fight on the scorecards. Either way, I feel pretty good about Jackson, so 60% seems about right for me. Am I super confident? No, he's taking the fight on short notice. Dumas just got out of prison. There's crazy variables for this matchup, so you can never be too confident, but I got Jackson McVeigh at 60%. Terrence McKinney via Vyacheslav Borshev, or Slava Borshev. Terrence is at minus 172. Money is actually coming in on Vyacheslav, which is interesting. I do have Terrence McKinney winning this fight. And it's a very tough one. I am more confident in Terrence McKinney than I am in Jackson McVeigh, just because there's so many unknowns in the Jackson McVeigh-Cedricus Dumas fight. But there's also some unknowns for Terrence. I mean, kind of unknowns, you do know, because Terrence could go out there and starch Vyacheslav in round 1. He could win round 1, win round 2, and get knocked out in round 3. There's a lot of this type of stuff in a Terrence McKinney fight where it's just going to be non-stop craziness and unknowns can pop out of nowhere. Head kicks and random submission attempts and takedowns and really going for the finish, going crazy. I mean, Terrence is one of those guys. He's so unpredictable to say. You can predict the fight's going to be violence and craziness. You can't really predict how that violence is going to transpire in the matchup. So I'm not at all confident on Terrence McKinney. Not even 2-1. I'm going to have him at 61. I'm a little bit more confident in him than I am with Jackson McVeigh, but I'm not going to say 2-1 for Terrence McKinney. I think the odds have it right around where they should be, to be quite honest. Minus 172. These odds seem perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Thanos, in my opinion. So 61% seems fine for me. Viviane Araujo and Tracy Cortez. This is another big underdog on this card. I'm more confident in Viviane than I am in Alvin Hines, because, Viviane's proven. She's not taking the fight on short notice. She's got a track record and things like that. She's got a lot of stuff that helps me be a little bit more confident in Viviane than Alvin Hines. The actual odds have her at plus 225, almost a 3-1 favorite. Tracy Cortez at minus 250. This is another big dog that I actually have winning this weekend. I'm going to go 55%. I feel relatively weirdly good. Again, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. I feel weirdly good about picking Viviane Araujo. I loved her countering ability. I love her takedown defense, her countering as the fighter comes in. She's able to explode and move out, and she's able to get out of range, jab, land kicks as they're coming in. She's just very good at countering, and Tracy likes to come forward, and she's going to eat shots as she does. It's going to come down to, can Tracy get inside, and can Viviane stay on the outside? And I really think that fight, it's going to be very, very close. It's going to be close to a pick'em for sure, but I think Viviane honestly hits pretty hard in this UFC flyweight division. So we'll see what happens there. I feel decent about Viviane for a big underdog. Not like Alvin Hines, where I'm like, this fight can literally go so many ends of the spectrum. Viviane Tracy's going to be a 29-28 split decision either way, in my opinion. Very, very close one. But I lean Viviane. It's very, very close, though. Hyder Emil Jose Delgado, another underdog. How many dogs are we going to have on this card? It's crazy. Hyder Emil, we're going to have the 56%. I feel a little bit better in Hyder than I do in Viviane Araujo. But do I feel good on Hyder? No. There's a good chance Jose Delgado wins this fight by staying at range, having Hyder come to him and bombing him with big shots and winning the rounds based on landing the more powerful shots and moving and evading the pressure of Hyder Emil. But Hyder just keeps coming forward. He's marabbing his way forward without the takedown attempts, really. And Jose is going to have to really, really mix in some big shots. If he doesn't land those big shots, he's going to lose because Hyder's going to come in and land his big shots on the inside. So Jose's really got to find that range and catch him every time he comes in. So it's a close fight again. Not one I'm confident on. Plus 145 Hyder Emil to go out there and win. But again, as underdogs are concerned, there's a lot of good ones here. A lot of good value on a lot of these dogs. Hyder Emil, I'm not confident in Hyder, but I think it's a fight that could go either way. 29-28 on the judges' scorecards. And I lean Hyder Emil because technique-wise, skill-wise, I think Hyder fighting Jose Delgado is a little bit of a step down from William Gomes, but Jose has more power than William Gomes. But another variable, Hyder Emil is coming into this fight not injured. Last fight he was coming in with a knee injury. So many variables there. I think Hyder, you got to dogger past this fight for sure. And we got Gregory Rodriguez. The actual odds, Gregory's a 2-1 favorite, and I'm not quite there. Okay? I'm not quite 2-1, but I'm a little bit less than that. I'm not going to be like, oh, I think this is a 50-50 fight. Also, like these other fights, but I'm going to go 63%. I'm almost 2-1 on Gregory Rodriguez. I think the odds are right around where they should be. I wouldn't mind a little bit of money, like minus 185, somewhere around that range makes a lot of sense for Gregory and Jack. As of right now, it's a pass for me. I'm probably not going to bet either way on Gregory or on Jack. I'll probably prop bet. And that's the only thing I will do because I think the odds are right where they pretty much should be in this UFC middleweight matchup. Gregory's cardio, not amazing, but it's 3 rounds this time against Jack Hermansson. Jack is great in 5-rounders. He's great in round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. Gregory's great in round 1, round 2. And it's only 3 rounds, so I think he wins with the rounds because it's a shorter fight. Am I confident? No. Am I almost confident? Yes, because it is 3 rounds, and that really, really does favor Gregory Rodriguez. We move on. Felipe Lima, Peyton Talbot. We're not even going to look at the odds just yet. 70% for Felipe Lima as my number 2 most confident pick of the card, at least so far. Felipe is a 2-1 favor on the betting odds, actually, and he was barely a slight favorite, minus 125 when the odds first came out. Money came in on Felipe, then money came in on Peyton Talbot, and he was minus 140. Then a bunch of money came in on Felipe Lima. Now he's a 2-1 favorite. I totally understand why everybody is betting on Felipe Lima. This is a fight I could easily see Felipe dominating 30-27 or finishing Peyton Talbot. You can easily see that happening. That is not far out of the realm of possibilities here for Felipe Lima. In fact, I'm going to raise it just a little bit. I feel very, very good about Felipe Lima here. I think he goes out there and has his way with Peyton Talbot on the ground. And in striking, Peyton's going to look good. He's going to look good for a little bit. He's taller, he's lengthier, he's faster, he's more explosive, he's got better everything on the feet. But Felipe, every single round, is going to get the takedown. He's going to get the back of Peyton, and he's going to work submissions. He's going to control, and he's not going to just hold. He's going to go for the finish, and that's what's going to win him the fight. So I feel fairly good about Felipe Lima here, 72%. Then we move on. I didn't even look. Who's the next one? Beneil Dariush, another underdog. I'm going to go right in between here. I'm going to go 58% for Beneil as another dog on this UFC pay-per-view. The actual odds are 50-50. I think they're really, really close. Let's look. Renato Moicano is at minus 115. Beneil's at minus 105. This is basically a pick'em. On some of the bookies, some of them have Moicano as a pretty heavy favorite at minus 155. I think it's a closer fight than that. A much closer fight. I actually lean Beneil Dariush, and I think the odds should be flipped from here. Minus 155, it should be for Beneil. And plus 130, it should be for Moicano. I do believe Beneil has the better wrestling, has the better offensive wrestling, has the better scrambling ability, has the better control, can hold you on the ground, and land ground and pound better than Moicano can. And I just really think the striking, a lot of people are like, oh, we saw in Moicano's last fight that his game plan was to strike Beneil Dariush. He said that in many interviews, that he was going to go out there and strike with Beneil Dariush. His striking looked decent, but Beneil Dariush has good boxing. He's able to get inside, and as long as he's not going against a powerful guy like Arman Tsarukyan with that one-punch power, or Charles Oliveira with that knee, that finishing ability of Charles and Arman Tsarukyan, he's fighting Renato Moicano. Renato doesn't have that kind of power. So Beneil doesn't have to be as worried about getting hit with a big shot. Coming off some knockout losses, he can come forward, he can box, he can do this, he can mix in takedowns, he can mix in scrambles and win the fight that way. I think the striking is very, very even. Beneil comes forward, Renato looking to jab and kick at range, Beneil mixing in takedowns, control, ground and pound, trying to go for some scrambles and mixing in some submission attempts, and I think he uses the grappling, the submission attempts, the ground and pound, keeps the striking on the feet even, and I don't know why the odds are flat. I think they should be 50-50 or slightly leaning Beneil. I don't understand why Moicano is minus 150. Just doesn't make sense in my opinion. So I feel pretty good. Josh Van Brandon, Royval. Oh, yeah, it has to be like 52%. I don't feel confident at all in Joshua Van. I don't know if he's still a dog. I don't know if he is. He's a favorite now. But he's a dog on some of them. It's a 50-50 on some. Royval's the favorite on some. Josh Van's, it's a 50-50. It's a pick'em fight in the UFC flyweight division, and I think that's exactly what it should be. Exactly what it should be. Josh Van, Brandon Royval can literally go either way. Josh hits harder, he throws more volume, better boxing. Royval, taller, lengthier, can walk Joshua Van into strikes and into takedown attempts, but Josh has great takedown defense. There's so many variables here as well in the flyweight division. I'm going to go Josh Van by decision. It's a close-ass fight. 29-28 for Josh Van. Same thing for Viviani. Same thing for Hydermill. Same thing for Beneil Dariush. All of these fights are 29-28s in my opinion. That could literally, a few little moments here and there can make the fight swing one way or the other. That's why I'm going for the dog on a lot of these, because the value really is there. The value really is there. If you can get plus money on Royval or Josh Van, bet either side you're getting plus money on, because it is that close of a fight. Not to mention, Josh is taking this fight on short notice. Of course, he did fight recently, but short notice is still short notice. Then we got Pantoja, Kai Kara France. I was originally, when I first saw the matchup, confident on Pantoja. I was confident on Pantoja. Now I'm not. I'm around here. Okay? 61% for Alexandre Pantoja. Same with Vyacheslav Borshchev. I really do think, I slightly lean towards Alexandre Pantoja. It's not necessarily a pick'em. There's a clear winner for the fight. The pressure, the volume, the pace of Pantoja coming forward. But Kai landing big shots, but Pantoja eating those shots and mixing in takedowns, getting back control, attempting submissions. I think Pantoja wins. I can see clear paths to victory for Kai. That's the only reason I don't have him as a 2-1. Or what I originally would have had him at 72, 75%. I would have been fairly confident on Pantoja to win the fight. I'm not anymore. I see very clear paths to victory for Kai to defend takedowns, win those moments defending, countering Pantoja as he comes in, landing the bigger shots and winning the rounds by just landing the bigger shots and defending takedowns. His takedown defense is so good. But Pantoja just keeps shooting. That's why I got Pantoja winning. Because yes, Kai's going to defend a lot of these takedowns. But eventually Pantoja will get it to the ground. And he'll get on top. And Kai will have to worry about that. It's an interesting one. There's a lot of fights. There's some tricky matchups that there's no clear winner. There's clear paths to victory for both sides, but there's no clear winner. There's no clear winner. The only clear winners I can see where I don't see a lot of paths to victory is for Peyton and Nico. Other than that, there's paths to victory for everybody. Everybody. Maybe Ilya Charles is going to be up here, which we're going to move him up here for sure to 70%. But for all of these fights here, I don't really see many of these fights being like a one-sided fight where the other guy doesn't really have any paths to victory. I see paths to victory for all of these guys I'm not picking to win. Jack Hermanson, Borshev, Kai, Dumas. They all have great paths to victory here. Charles Oliveira also. He has a great path to victory in, getting to that clinch position with Ilia Topuria, getting his head high and landing knees to the body, knees to the head, and trying to get this fight to the ground on Ilia Topuria. But Ilya's wrestling and grappling is just that good as well. Got good Greco-Roman, good submission defense, good grappling. All of that is good for Ilya. I could see a path to victory for Charles, but it's just not there. Like, Jack has a good one. He could win round 2, round 3. Vyacheslav can win after Terrence gasses out. Kai can defend some of these takedowns and win rounds based on landing the more powerful shots. Dumas, same thing as Kai Kara-France. Moicano can defend the takedowns, make this a 50-50 striking match, and Moicano can win. Delgado can just land the bigger shots as Hyder comes in and win. Tracy can land more volume coming forward, put on that pressure. Royval can mix in some takedowns. Jab and range. Stay away from the volume of Josh Van. Denise can land on Alvin Hines early. There's paths to victory for all these guys. Charles has that path. I just don't see it happening that much. Charles, his main way is submitting Ilya or, landing front kicks and trying to land a knee to the face of Ilia Topuria and knocking him out. A knee knockout or a submission on Ilia Topuria is possible. There's that path to victory. It's just not very likely. So Ilya, I feel very good about him. These are my 3 confident picks this weekend. These fights can all really go either way. They're all, slight leans or pick'ems or 50-50 coin flip fights. These 3, I see clear ways for these guys to go out there and win. They're my confident picks. Jacoby Smith, Felipe Lima, Ilia Topuria, my confident picks. This is my most confident, 2 least confident picks for UFC 317. Of course, if you do want to see all the bets we are making for this pay-per-view and every fight night and pay-per-view thereforward, become a channel member in the pinned comment down below or in the description. Become a channel member. It's very, very cheap. And this, I would say my bets aren't even the best value of the membership. The UFC fighter contact list is amazing. You can literally ask questions to UFC fighters, talk to UFC fighters. The early fight news, you can see a full list. It's like 3-4 pages long of fights that nobody knows about. I know Rob Font's next fight. I know Zhang Mingyang's next fight. I know a lot of big fights that aren't released to the public yet that you can go out and check out if you're a channel member. So great perks. Check it out. It's a great card coming up. It's a great card. These are my confident picks. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.